Extra, extra, hear all about it. Malik Heath has announced his commitment to Ole Miss. We thought we were done. It turns out that we were not done. But we are here to talk about all of that. This is an extra version of the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Malik Heath committed to Ole Miss. We'll talk about that in just a second. First of all, I do want to thank you for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. Do us a favor, hit subscribe, hit upvote, and hit the bell so you'll know when new videos are posted as well. Before we get started, I do want to tell you about Built Bar. Built Bar is, it's the new year, so that means New Year's resolutions. If yours is about getting fit or eating healthier, make sure you include a Built Bar in your plan. Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, maybe even better than a candy bar. Built Bar makes it easier to stick to your resolution because it tastes so good. You'll want to eat it. Unlike other protein bars that can be chalky, waxy, or taste like a chemical spill. If you eat healthy, but just get real bored with it all, and by week 3 you might be thinking, this just isn't worth it, where's the chocolate? Well, Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. So here's an idea for the new year. Go to all your secret treat stashes at home, in the pantry, at the office, in the car, wherever, and throw out all the sugary, calorie-filled treats and replace them with Built Bars. So when you're craving a snack or treat, you can reach for something that's healthy and taste incredible. Even if you're not a huge fan of working out, you can eat something that tastes good and is good for you. That way, when you enjoy a delicious Built Bar, you can almost count it as a workout. Just remember, there's so many flavors to choose from. Coconut almond, peanut butter brownie, raspberry, cookies and cream, salted caramel, and many, many more. In fact, Built is already coming out with new limited time flavors, so check Built.com often to see what is new. So go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. So we're talking about Malik Heath, and we should be talking about Malik Heath. He's actually a pretty big get. He kind of fits the role of the bigger wide receivers. There's not really any super thick guys lining up. Jonathan Mingo is the biggest out there, like 6'2", 215. But this is a guy that's a little bit bigger, a little bit more of a mismatch problem. Now, if you remember correctly, whenever we built this, and all this happened in the early 2010s, the wide receiver position at Ole Miss, first with Dante Moncrief, then with Laquan Treadwell, and then with A.J. Brown and D.K. Metcalf. There were big guys on the outside. That's a tradition that developed with Ole Miss. And this year, there was going to be a little bit of a step back. Actually, last year was a little bit of a step back when you look at Braylon Sanders on the outside and at times Ja'Cory Pearson. It's not the matchup that everybody would remember. Malik Heath would fill this void. Now, just like the quarterback position, when everybody was talking about let's get competition in there for Luke Altmaier, that was the whole purpose and the rallying cry going into transfer season. The same holds true for the wide receiver room. Bring competition into that room. Let the cream rise to the top and let the best ones be the one that plays. Now, I've told you over and over, Braylon Brown, I think, was a 5-star candidate before COVID hit in 2020. He's a fantastic wide receiver. Jonathan Mingo was having a breakout year last year until he got injured. So, I think they want to stock that room up more than it was this year and just get in position because you think about it, if the Auburn game doesn't happen, Ole Miss is in the playoff. Now, Ole Miss probably doesn't go very far in the playoff, but they're probably there. I mean, they were 7th or 8th going into the last weekend with the loss to Auburn. You take that loss away and they're 11-1, all of a sudden they're above Oklahoma State, above Notre Dame, and they're right there on the line of cuss. Now, 3 SEC teams were not going to get in. I understand that. But looking at what's happening, that's the dividing line. The Braylon Sanders, Dontario Drummond, and Jonathan Mingo injuries was a deciding factor in that game. Matt Corral obviously went down as well. But it was a game that Ole Miss had many times over a chance to win, and just for whatever reason let it slip through their fingers. I mean, it was pretty bad. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football continues its march through the playoffs right to the big game in a couple of weeks. BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcast, and news this season. It's not just football. BetOnline has up-to-the-minute pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, and UFC to go along with live, real-time updates of current games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the new amazing offers available for the 2022 season. BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, like I said, I view this as a competition move, and it'll definitely help. Now, I saw this week the show that I did this morning, that I released this morning, I was incorrect in the transfer rule. There was a caveat that allows for both Deion Smith and Malik Heath to play this year, even though they're not enrolled. The key terminology was entered the transfer portal. So as long as Deion Smith does not leave the transfer portal, he would be able to qualify for immediate eligibility in the SEC. Malik Heath, I believe, is a grad transfer. That does not follow the one-year transfer policy. So he would be able to transfer and have immediate eligibility. That's what we're looking at with those two. Everybody, there's a couple other wide receivers in the portal. I think they want to stack that up. I think they like where they are defensively at this point in time. And it was 2 receivers, a kicker, and best available. It might be 3 receivers and a kicker. It might be 4 receivers. Who knows? But they're stacking up on weapons that can make plays. You've heard rumors about Brew McCoy possibly in the summer as well. It's an interesting situation with this team, and I'm looking to see what all the weapons set forth. Now, this spring is going to be absolutely fascinating, and I'm excited to see exactly what happens with the competition between Jackson Dart and Luke Altmaier, the competition on the outside, the competition even in the running back room between Kentrell Bullock and Zach Evans. I don't expect Kentrell Bullock to win that competition, but I think he's going to compete. And you look for Quinshon Judkins. He is my prediction for the Henry Parrish type signee that just kind of shoots up and plays a good bit. I really, really like Quinshon Judkins. And the offensive line with Mason Brooks, they improved. And with Jeremy James moving over to left tackle, they will improve. Nick Broker on the inside, they will improve. I think they think they're in fairly good shape. I think also the willingness to take a spot in the fall will depend on how they snap the ball in the spring. I look for Caleb Warren to get a lot of snaps there. I look for others to get snaps as well. With Ole Miss being a primary shotgun team, you need somebody that can handle that workload. So that should be pretty interesting to see as the Rebs are progressing in the spring. Like I said, defensively, they're in pretty good shape. 3 down line, you can go 9 deep. So that's a 3 deep on the defensive line. Linebackers, you can go 2 deep. Defensive backs, you can go 2 deep. And the defense is in pretty good shape. And they signed a punter this year to replace Mac Brown, which is a big thing. So this has been a big signing day. This has been a legitimately big signing day. And the Malik Heath was the cherry on the top. And my dog is going crazy barking at a car going down the road. So sorry about that. So enjoy this signing day. Enjoy that something happened on National Signing Day instead of us being completely done. And this is from, by the way, Malik Heath's Twitter. He's the one that put the edit up. The school didn't confirm anything that had happened, but it was Malik Heath that put his on edit up. So it should be good. So anyway, thank you for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. Tomorrow we will continue to talk about National Signing Day. Now make your second listen Locked On Q. Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling, is free and available on all platforms. I do want to thank everybody for tuning in today. We got another one coming up. Tomorrow's show, we'll have Kara McCutcheon on it talking about the social aspects of Jackson Dart and Michael Trigg. So anyway, stick around for that as well. But until then, hotty toddy.